Over the past couple of years, I've been doing a lot of decluttering, and I've noticed that there's a lot of things that we tell ourselves that either stop us from decluttering at all or stop us from getting rid of those things once we finally do start decluttering. I've noticed that a lot of us struggle with this on our journey towards minimalism, and once you consciously understand that you're lying to yourself and you're telling yourself these things, that it kind of helps you overcome them. So I thought we could go over some of the lies that we tell ourselves right now. I paid this amount of money for it. This is something that I've told myself a bunch of times, especially as someone who is very frugal. It's very easy for me to say that hey, I can't get rid of this thing. It cost $100, it cost $20, it cost $50, whatever it is. And then you end up hanging on to that forever strictly for the reason that you spent money on it. It doesn't matter if you actually use it or not. And kind of how I've kind of gotten past this is it's sunk cost. I've learned my lesson. Now I know not to waste money on stuff that I'm not actually 100% going to use. And I already spent the money on it, so it really does me no good to hang on to it when I could sell it and get at least some of my money back, or I could donate it and that money could go towards, helping somebody else. It's rare. For some reason, we try to hang on to stuff that's rare, that's one of a kind, that's an antique, even if it has no real value to it. Just for some reason, we want to collect that kind of stuff. I know for me, I would much rather get rid of this because I can buy it in a store than this because it's handmade, even though I got it for $1. For some reason, there's something about the rareness of stuff that makes us want to hang on to it, even though it has no real value. This isn't that good of a cup. It was $1. Somebody made it. But for some reason, you feel more attracted to those things that are rare in your eyes, especially antiques. I don't know why that is, but it's definitely not really rational once you start to think about it. So yeah, just let it go. It's not really all that special, even though for some reason we think it is. The feelings of the person who gave it to you. This is where letting people know that you're embracing minimalism kind of comes into play, because when it's your birthday, it's a Christmas, it's a holiday, and people give you stuff, and sometimes you're 100%, I'm not gonna wear this, I'm not gonna use this, but you don't want to get rid of it because someone gave it to you. So you're oh, I'll hang on to it for 6 months and a day, because at that point, if I get rid of it, then this person's feelings won't be offended. But if you kind of let people know that that's what you're trying to do with your life, and it's helping you a lot to get rid of stuff, and it's helping you with stress and everything else. And for the most part, it's not really a huge deal, and you can't live your life depending on what's going to hurt other people's feelings, because anything you do is going to upset half the people, and it's gonna, make the other half of the people happy. So you can't really win. Just do what is right for you when you're decluttering. No regrets. For some reason, people ask a lot, what are the things you regret decluttering? Besides the suit that I accidentally threw away at some point, there's nothing that I actually regret decluttering. That was just an accident. I don't know how that happened. Once you get rid of stuff, I didn't need that thing. And if I do need it, I actually need it, I can get it again. It's not that big of a deal. You don't want to take that to the extreme where you're throwing away stuff and then buying it every 6 months and you're wasting money. But for the most part, you don't need stuff. If you're rationally thinking about whether I have another cup or not, isn't gonna make any difference in my life, or an extra throw pillow or an extra shirt or an extra whatever. When you start looking at those things, it's literally gonna have zero impact in my life. So let's just get rid of some of this stuff. I'll do it tomorrow. This is something that I've done a lot, where you look at decluttering as this huge task that's gonna take a week and a half to do, and you don't have time, so you don't do it at all because it's such a big, overwhelming thing that you're looking at. For me, it's helped to kind of 2-minute rule this, and just kind of just do something. Just do this little itty bitty part. I'm not committing to getting rid of the entire house or going through my entire closet. I'm committing to, spending 5 minutes, and I'm gonna get rid of some stuff. That's it. That's all I'm gonna do. 2 minutes. That's all I'm gonna do. And you just take down little chunks at a time, because it is a process. Even though times that I went through my entire house and spent a whole day getting rid of stuff, or a whole weekend getting rid of stuff, a month later I had to do it again. It's not something that you just do and it's over. It's a process, and just kind of understanding that and not waiting till the stars align, because the timing is never right. And just kind of doing a little bit of something every day, and just let that kind of add up over time. At least that's what I do, because it helps. It might fit again. It's probably not gonna fit again, not gonna lie to you. For me, I've definitely done this before, and I know a lot of people who do this, where you hang on to stuff because it might fit again, and then like for the most part, it's not going to, unless you're actively doing something today, whether you got bigger or thinner or whatever it is, unless you're actively doing something and you're in the process of getting back to where you were, it's probably not gonna fit again. However, I have used this kind of both ways as motivation where, you know, if I lose another 10 pounds or whatever and I get back into fitting into this stuff, then I can hang on to it and I set a date, maybe in 6 months, if I'm not fitting this stuff, it's gotta go. And that'll give me some motivation to get back to where I was. Or you can just kind of say, you know what, hey, I'm not gonna be that size again. Like recently over the past year, I've kind of moved from medium shirts to large shirts. And you know what, I'm not gonna be a medium again, probably. I'm not gonna get much smaller than I am now. So we're going on to the large shirts. We're getting rid of the mediums, or we're giving them to people who will really appreciate them. Speaking of which, I'm gonna give some new, not used cuts t-shirts away over on Instagram, so follow me over there if you aren't already. I'm saving it for the next house. I've done this a bunch of times where I'm like, well, I'll kind of hang on to this because we're looking to move. We've been looking for a house for a couple months now. And like, hey, I'm looking to move, so maybe I should just kind of hang on to this in case we have more room at the next place, even though we don't really have it here. And then I kind of got to the point where I'm like, what am I even doing? I don't even know if this stuff is gonna fit the feel or the look of the next house. So I'm hanging on to it for that 10% of if we move, I can bring it from here to there. Like what am I even doing? So when you kind of come to that realization, you're like, and then you just kind of get rid of it. I don't need a decluttering system. Been there, done that. I had to look up some decluttering systems. They helped a lot, did a whole video on it. This one's gonna be short. Actually having a system and not reinventing the wheel definitely helps. I live with a non-minimalist. So first of all, you don't need to be a minimalist just to get rid of extra junk that's in your house. So anybody can do this. And secondly, like my wife's not a minimalist, so we have kind of had that balance. You know what, I'm gonna do what I can do, what's right for me, find this happy medium where I'm not like an extreme minimalist. I don't have everything cut down, but we do have a lot of stuff cut down. So you can't just wait till the stars align, till everybody that you live with or everybody that you know is on the same page, but you can definitely make progress at least. It doesn't have to be everything that you wanted it to be, but maybe you can get, you know, halfway there, or you at least have, you know, more of an open area house, or you have more room in your own closet. And just kind of let other people, you know, they're gonna do what they're gonna do. You can't really change anybody else's mind. Maybe you can kind of show them why you're doing it, why it's important to you. But in general, like you just kind of can control what you can control and just, you know, not really worry about the rest. But if you just kind of wait till everybody else is on board, it's just never gonna happen. So there's always an excuse, a reason, a lie of why not to do it. But once you kind of get into it and you dive into it, it's really like therapeutic. You feel better, you get like a little bit of a high, you feel happy. You have a house that's more open and like clean all the time, which is amazing. So anyways, get decluttering. I hope this helped a few people at least. And if you enjoyed it and it did help you, subscribe, hit the little bell thingamajig because it rings when you hit it. And I'll see you next week.